ASMRplays also, and also look forward to England's game against Belgium as well, which should prove pretty interesting tomorrow, as well as a few other interesting games that are coming up. So we last left off, I think, after the England Panama game, and then we went into the final kind of group games of this World Cup, where for a lot of teams it was kind of do or die. You know, there was a lot of interesting results kind of coming through. Teams who perhaps didn't expect to qualify, you know, when looking at these groups to begin with, qualified, and you know, a few teams kind of scraped through. Not that many actually qualified, I don't think, with flying colours, shall we say. So Uruguay beat Russia 3-0. To be fair to Uruguay, that's 3 wins out of 3, and they haven't conceded a goal. You would say they had the easiest group, though, without a doubt. Russia, I think, showed that Egypt and Saudi Arabia are probably two of the worst teams in this tournament, and they managed to beat them. I don't think Russia are a bad side. I think they're like pretty average, or slightly below average, probably. I just think Saudi Arabia and Egypt have been pretty terrible this World Cup. Although Saudi Arabia did manage to beat Egypt, which does probably make Egypt the worst team in this competition, as they lost to Saudi Arabia, despite having Mo Salah there. But yeah, Uruguay, I mean, they just looked really solid. They beat Russia. You know, I don't think any team wants to play Uruguay in this World Cup now. I wouldn't say they're firing on all cylinders. There's a lot of question marks, particularly I think about the midfield, but the defence is looking very solid. Godin at the back, and obviously the attack with Cavani and Suarez is just kind of lethal. You know, you give them a chance, they're probably going to take it. So when you have a combination of having, you know, a really solid defence and a really, really good strike force, you could almost get away without having, you know, the best midfield, I think. And you know, Uruguay, with what we've seen from a lot of the other teams, I think they're in with a shout, put it that way, of winning this World Cup. I think that would be a shock if you told me that at the beginning of the World Cup, but you know, they've done exactly what they needed to do through the group stages, and sure, they haven't faced any really good opposition yet, I would say, but they're going to do that pretty soon. And in fact, they're going to be facing Portugal, because Portugal drew with Iran. That was a fascinating game, by the way. So Spain also drew with Morocco. Spain and Portugal, it almost feels like they were doing their best to not qualify for the last 16. Yeah, Portugal, just essentially a one-man team, very much so. Although Quaresma's goal for them, I would say, was fantastic. Excellent goal. Ronaldo missed a penalty, which was hilarious, because obviously Messi missed a penalty earlier on in the competition, and Ronaldo scored his hat-trick. Then Ronaldo misses a penalty, and Messi scores a great goal in the Argentina-Nigeria game. So, like, to boil these two players down to one game or one World Cup with their fantastic careers is utterly ridiculous, and it just goes to show that they're human. They are human. You know, they're not like some soccer, you know, god that descended from the heavens. They are just human beings. They're capable of having a bad game every now and then. They're capable of not doing something, but when they play to their best, they're just you know, way above anyone else. That's what you have to remember. Spain didn't look good against Morocco. They look very poor at the back, which I find fascinating for a team which has Piqué, Ramos, Carvajal, you know, De Gea. You think that's the best defence in, you know, the World Cup, isn't it? But apparently not. Yeah, they don't look good. You know, they came through as what, they won the group, didn't they? I believe so. They're going to be playing against Russia. So it's going to be Spain, Russia. I'm pretty sure of that. Let me just confirm it. Spain, Russia, and it's going to be Portugal, Uruguay in the next round. I mean, Portugal, Uruguay would be an interesting match. Portugal have not looked good at all. They really haven't, and I think they're better than what they've looked in these games. They've relied on Ronaldo, and yeah, Portugal haven't impressed me, Spain haven't impressed me. That being said, out of the two of them, Spain are the ones capable of going, above into a second gear. They are capable of so much more, and it will be interesting to see if they are going to be able to do that. I think what happened with the manager affected them a lot, without doubt. So yeah, right now I can't see them winning the World Cup, but once you get into knockout stages, those individual players, those individual moments of magic, which Spain have so many players capable of, those moments, can really make a difference, and Portugal with Ronaldo as well, he pretty much single-handedly got them to Euros final. They did have to kind of win it without him, I guess, then, but we'll see from there, really. Iran, very unlucky to not beat Portugal, in my opinion. They had a real chance towards the end where striker, or whoever it was who took the shot, I don't actually know many of their players, to be completely honest, but should have at least hit the target, as we say, and if he'd hit the target, he probably would have scored. So, some interesting uses of VAR, definitely. Some very, I'm going to do a separate video on VAR, but I think I'm going to leave it till the end of the tournament, because there's so much happening in every match, which can just swing either way on how it goes, that something I say today about VAR could be completely irrelevant by tomorrow. It's just that kind of strange scenario where we have it. But yeah, I in terms of the Ronaldo, should he have been sent off or not? I don't think so. I think it would have been a harsh sending off. I've seen them given, yes, and if Carl Walker gives away a penalty for his arm, then there's an argument to say that Ronaldo, should have been sent off. But I think Carl Walker moment was not really a true penalty. Just it would be funny to see Ronaldo get sent off as a non-Portuguese supporter. It probably was a sending off, to be fair. So yeah, much happening in that group, and then through to the next group C, where we had the most shocking game of this World Cup, the only 0-0 we've had so far, I believe, isn't it? Yeah. Denmark v France, and just shocking from both teams, really. Mainly, I'd say a bit more Denmark, but a lot from France as well. Both teams who knew that a draw would see them both go through, and never even really bothered to try and do anything different. Really, just shameful, I think. If you come to a World Cup, like people are saying, you say about normally our fans, come to the come to football games, they pay their money. More so at the World Cup, you've got your fans travelling a long way, very expensive, not just for a ticket to the game, but accommodation, travel, etc. And you put on a dire, dismal display like that 0-0 game, and they should be ashamed of themselves, really. Neither of them really looked like they were trying to win. It was only when I think Mbappe came on for France, he actually showed some sort of spirit to try and get up there, but otherwise just very, very poor from both those teams, and I don't think they're going to go very far in this tournament, to be completely honest. I guess we'll see, because France topped the group, which means they'll play Croatia, I believe. Anyway, let me just check. It says, yeah, France topped, so they'll play they'll play Argentina, and Croatia will play Denmark. Argentina managed to beat Nigeria with a late Marcus Rojo goal. Messi's goal was an absolute masterpiece of football. It was just a piece of genius. It was a great pass through, kind of it's funny, I nearly called it a long ball, which is not untrue, it is, but it's a long pass, it was one of those kind of diagonal balls which just kind of cuts through a defence, Messi takes it on his thigh, and then while the ball's still in the air, he then takes it slightly off to the right and forward, away from the defender with his foot, and then slots it across the keeper into the goal. Just a real magnificent piece of skill, the sort of thing you'd see Dennis Bergkamp do. sort of thing which only the top world-class players can do, really. I think if you saw that from most other players, they may have controlled it with their thigh, but they probably would have waited for it to hit the ground, by which point I think the defender would have caught up with him and maybe made a tackle. But because of that action was so fluid, so fast, and the finish was so precise, that it's one of those goals which only world-class players will score. You know, it was just magnificent. It really was. You know, nothing about it was a fluke. Everything was controlled and precise, and it was just marvellous to watch. Really good. Rojo with a pretty good finish as well for the second on there, and Moses obviously scoring a penalty, but it was, you know, well, it was close, and Argentina were better, but they certainly were not great. Yeah, I must admit I didn't watch the Croatia against Iceland game. I know Croatia won 2-1, and they made 9 changes. They're now my dark horses for this World Cup, as Serbia it was before, but I think they've been disappointing this World Cup. But Croatia, that midfield is very good, and I think they look like they're going to stomp all over Denmark, personally. Argentina, France will be very interesting. Both teams with a lot of quality, a lot of players who can change a game, you know, but not playing perhaps to their full potential as a team. So that would be very interesting to see how that one goes. As well, it's almost a shame Nigeria and Iceland didn't go through. I thought they both played pretty well this World Cup. But again, you know, that moment of magic from Messi is something that can turn a game. Maybe he has turned a corner, maybe he hasn't. Maybe it's just one game, maybe it's just one goal. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But I think that would be a very interesting matchup when they come across Denmark. They should beat them easily, but how many times have we seen that, especially in Group F? Wow, so I watched this game today, Germany v Korea, fully expecting Germany to just coast to a fairly routine, easy victory after the late winner against Sweden from Toni Kroos, which was a magnificent goal. But boy, they were bad. I mean, they were really bad. They were like watching England, during the bad years, just devoid of anything really. A lot of missed chances, and you could say, well, on a different day maybe they beat Korea because they missed a lot of chances. But that's the thing, they missed a lot of chances. Goalkeeper did well for Korea as well, kept them in the game. Just terrible. Like, to me, Messi is the most overrated footballer in world football. I just don't see the attraction with him. He just doesn't do anything for me. I barely saw any German players break into a run at any point, really. They just seem so slow and ponderous with their kind of build-up. I don't know what's happened to them. You know, they won the World Cup 4 years ago. This is largely a lot of the same players, and I know you could be like, well, the players have gotten older and stuff, but like, they've not got that bad. I don't think they still, like, all those players still turn up. You know, Toni Kroos won the European Cup with Real Madrid. Ozil, like, he didn't have a terrible season with Arsenal. He wasn't great, but like, wasn't terrible. Timo Werner came into this World Cup, playing well. You got Thomas Müller. Klimt is supposed to be this great right back. You've got come back in goal, and they just were pants, weren't they? They just were terrible. And part of me, as an Englishman, is happy that Germany are out because they always find a way to bloody beat us. But also part of me sad that we don't get to knock them out, because they've knocked us out enough times. I feel like England would take this Germany side apart if we played, just because of our desire and system, and I think we would really have taken them apart. As it was, Korea scored 2 goals, and here we saw a really positive use of VAR in this game, where initially the linesman was flagging for offside for the goal. When it was reviewed on VAR, it was shown that Toni Kroos actually kicked the ball to the Korean player, like assisted it. They say he's good at assists, to be fair, and so he couldn't be offside because it was kicked from the opposition team, and so the goal stood. And then we saw Son score after Neuer crazy scenes. I guess he had no choice really. You know, Germany needed to win that game to go through, and yeah, well, yeah, they did because Mexico were on 6, Sweden were winning, which means they're on 6, which means Germany would have ended up on 4 if they'd have drawn, so they needed a win. I mean, listen, if it's not the most difficult group there is, Korea, Mexico, Sweden, it's not easy. There are easier groups in this World Cup, but you know, Germany must be massively disappointed. And there's going to be a lot of interesting, you know, what's going to happen to Jurgen Löw. He's been in charge of Germany for 12 years. You know, he's a World Cup winner with them. Is it him? Is it the team? You know, how many players are going to maybe move on or retire or be retired, shall we say? When they went to the Confederations Cup, which is the kind of warm-up for the World Cup, they looked really good. They brought a very young side with them. They looked really good. They won that competition. They came to the World Cup and they just brought all their old players, and I feel like that was a mistake. I know they're the defending champions, so it's different, because if they came along, perhaps as they did, I think it was in 2006 when it was held in Germany, and they kind of, no one expected really much from them, and they surprised a lot of people there with some really dynamic attacking football from Jurgen Klinsmann. Maybe the expectation level was that they would at least get to the semi sort of this year, you know, if not more. But just very, very poor from Germany there, really poor. And fair play to Korea, they celebrated like they won the World Cup. And fair play, you know, it's a great achievement for them to beat a team like Germany, because yes, they're not vintage Germany, but they're still Germany, you know. Mexico, really, I think this was a shock, wasn't it, as well, losing to Sweden 3-0. That means that I think Sweden topped the group and Mexico are second, which means that they'll play kind of the Group D teams, which are, let's just have a look so I get this right, not teams, groups please, get this wrong. So yeah, Brazil will play Mexico, that'll be a hell of a game. Sweden will play Switzerland, interesting. Yeah, I didn't expect Sweden to top that group. Mexico looked really good in their 2 games against Germany and Korea. They just didn't turn up, I guess, and you know, shocked a lot of people. More so that Germany are last in that group. And then obviously we saw tonight as well, Brazil went through fairly comfortably against Serbia in the end. Good goal from Paulinho, who a lot of people kind of make fun of him, but it's a really good goal. Great pass from Coutinho, and then just a corner header in from Thiago Silva, you know, and it's just a pretty routine win. And then Switzerland go and draw with Costa Rica, bizarrely, and end up finishing second when they probably should have finished first. But yeah, to be fair, goal difference wise, they would have needed to score like 3 past Costa Rica, I guess, 3 or 4. So it's not a couple at least, I think. I don't know, but guess at the beginning of the competition, I would have said that's how that group would have finished. As is, I think Brazil is starting to look better. I think Neymar's starting to look fitter, and I think they're beginning to believe a little bit. And I don't know how Germany going out will affect them. I kind of said before, I would love to have seen a Germany-Brazil final or semi, and let Brazil kind of exercise that ghost or see how they reacted after what happened in Brazil. But they don't have to now, and I don't know if that's going to maybe motivate them a bit more, that they don't have to face Germany this World Cup, or maybe it will disappoint them. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But they're going to be playing against Mexico, and that will be a tough game. I think they probably would have preferred Sweden, to be fair, because Mexico will counter-attack them. And yeah, we'll see how it is, because Brazil's defence looks a little bit creaky, I will say. And attacking lineup still not firing quite as well. So yeah, they need to step it up, I think, if they're going to win this World Cup. But they're capable of doing that. They've got the players to do that, so we'll see. Switzerland, before this, I would have said actually they've got a pretty decent side. I don't know if we know yet whether or not Shaqiri and Xhaka are going to get suspended. If they do, apologise if they did today. I don't know. Let's have a look at Because last I heard, there was rumours they were going to be suspended. Did they play? Did play. Xhaka played anyway. Shaqiri didn't. Played, sorry, he just got substituted. So they played. So there was rumours they were going to get suspended for this and the next game. Maybe that, because of their the way they reacted to the goal, like the goal scoring celebration, saying it's like a political, kind of stance, which probably wasn't it? Let's face it. So I don't think they could really complain. But yeah, very very interesting. We could have seen Argentina, Germany, and Brazil get knocked out. We didn't, and or we could have seen Spain get knocked out as well. To be fair, we didn't know, and they're all through. The only big casualty we've had so far is Germany, really. So everybody else, I think you probably would have expected to qualify from their respective groups at the minute. So Uruguay, maybe you would have expected Egypt over Russia, but I don't think it would have mattered either way. Spain and Portugal, you'd expect to qualify. France and Denmark, probably would have expected to qualify. I think Peru are better, but they probably could rue a couple of missed chances there. Croatia and Argentina, probably not in that order, but you would have expected those two, I think, realistically. What was a very tough group. Brazil, Switzerland, Sweden, Mexico, no. You would have expected Germany probably above Sweden. England, Belgium, yes. And we don't know what's going to happen in the last game yet. So, on to the kind of previews of tomorrow. So, England against Belgium. Well, this is going to be a fascinating game, isn't it? Now, apparently, Romelu Lukaku is out. Let's see if they have like a preview. So, Romelu Lukaku is out, apparently. He's got a little bit of a twinge and they don't want to risk him. Can only be a positive, but then again, they do have someone like Bashuai on the bench who's also pretty decent. So, yeah, we'll see, I guess. Love talk about how England are going to line up, how they're going to play. I said before, I think they're going to play Henderson and Dyer in midfield. I don't know who's going to miss out. I'm feeling it could be Sterling, because I think Lingard's played his way into this team. I don't know if Dele Alli's going to come back yet either. I think England will rest Trippier. Sure if they'll play Alexander-Arnold or play Rose, and I think they'll probably rest Ashley Young because they're the players who do most of the running. It could be that they put Walker into the right wing back and then put Cahill in defence for his experience against the likes of, these very, very good players that Belgium have. I mean, it's nice to go into the game knowing that we don't have to get anything out of it, because that was the thing I was slightly terrified of, is that, we balls it up against Tunisia or Panama and we go in and we suddenly need a win or a draw at least, and that's when England do not play well. It's when there's that expectation on them to kind of do something like that, or not necessarily expectation but necessity to do that. So we're going in there as underdogs, I think, and rightly so, but all I want to see is us play well. I don't mind if we get beaten by Belgium, by just a brilliant move by De Bruyne and Hazard and Dries Mertens. I don't mind if that happens like that. That could happen against these teams. I can't have any complaints to that. What I don't want to see happen is us. I want to see a solid defensive display. I want to see us actually have a go at Belgium, like not just sit back, try and counter-attack. I think we'll do that though, and and really go for it. It seems that look at the groups. I don't know how important it is that we finish first or second now. I don't think it matters personally. I kind of said before that I think it's dumb that some teams, the people talk about a team not wanting to win the group or whatever. Of course you want to win the group. That winning mentality you have to continue with. We're going to see Colombia against Senegal. Is that the game? Can't even remember now. sorry, Japan, Poland. If Japan can get something out of that Poland game, they'll qualify. If Senegal can get a draw against Colombia, they'll qualify. We could see Colombia go out. That would be a bit of a shock, I think. I don't particularly think England have got anything to fear against any of those teams. Right, they've got something to fear, don't get me wrong, like they all have very good players. Japan, Senegal and Colombia, but what I'm saying is, as an overall team, I think looking at how we've played, we could go into those games as favourites, and rightly so. I still stand by the fact that England, I don't think we're quite there to win a World Cup. I think some teams are starting to pick up a little bit, like Brazil, should we say, and some other teams have been atrocious, but we'll see when it comes. It's going to be a fascinating game. I can't wait to watch it. I'll give my thoughts afterwards on the game. That should go up maybe like around midnight, something like that, BST. And you just got to be positive about this. As I said, the thing I've always wanted from England at any tournament is just to go out there, have a go in every match, try and win every match, and try not to just do something really dumb to screw it up. And hopefully we won't. And hopefully with these big decisions, which sometimes have gone against us in the past, VAR's there to try and help us. And maybe if Harry Kane can get a goal, that would be pretty awesome too. A draw would be a really good result, I feel. If we draw and we get less yellow cards or less red cards as well, definitely, then Belgium, we go through under fair play. So we would win the group, and I think if you told me that we are in with a good shout of winning the group at the beginning of the World Cup, I would have been very, very happy with that, and I still am. So we'll see what happens. People have always said like England getting to the last 16 quarterfinals would be a good result. I wonder if we get there quite comfortably, what people's opinions will be then, because in my opinion, that is still the aim. I think the quarterfinals should be an aim for us right now. If we get there, we have to play against a Brazil or someone. That could be our undoing. I wouldn't be, again, as long as we've tried and we've given it a go and we've done our best, then I think the guys can come home very happy. People obviously get carried away, and that's fine. Like it's of no consequence if someone believes that England can win the World Cup, like really believes it and thinks it's going to happen, because it doesn't make a difference what they think. It's not going to make England perform better or worse, to be honest with you. I guarantee you, there's no these guys aren't turning around this England team. Like, it's not turning around and reading all the newspaper headlines going, oh god, they think we're going to win the World Cup now, oh god. They're just thinking, like, we want to try and win the World Cup, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our best. But I think they all know that this is not a vintage England side, but it has a lot of other characteristics which quote unquote vintage golden generation England sides did not have. So we'll see what happens. Once that expectation level rises, if England do make it to, say, the quarterfinals, it will be interesting to know like how the mood changes, and will they will come about from there. We haven't made it to like a semi-final in a long time, so it would be very interesting to see how that goes. Right now, I think that Belgium and England are the two teams which have actually looked like they are playing close to their potential in this tournament, which is something. The other team probably being Croatia, who have also looked very good. Are definitely my kind of dark horse tip now. I don't even think they're dark horses anymore. I think they're probably like third favourites or something. But yeah, we will see. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting match, and I'll be back here tomorrow to kind of have a look. Statistic-wise, Harry Kane still's number one. If Lukaku doesn't play and Harry Kane scores again, that could be cool. That could be great. Does the Golden Boot really matter? Yeah, I actually think it does matter quite a bit. Strikers are all about confidence, and having the confidence, I think, to score 5 goals in 2 games and go on and win, the Golden Boot. Like, people always talk about the Golden Boot tournaments, you know. And I think it does matter, and I think it is the sort of thing which could propel Harry Kane to, you know, the next level if he isn't there already. So I think it's an important thing. Our players. But yeah, so some teams are going to be going home now, unfortunately. You know, I feel a bit sorry for Mo Salah. It's really not been a kind sort of 6 weeks for him, has it, really? With the Champions League final and now this. But, you know, great players keep going every year, and I'm sure he will do as well. I'm sure he's just got to focus now on Liverpool pre-season, you know, going for that. And those German players, I'm sure it will be a very quiet plane journey home for them. But they've got to refocus and go again. Like, they won the World Cup 4 years ago. Let's not forget that. You know, it's not like they've underperformed in several tournaments. They were shit. Yes, they did badly. They've got a Euros in 2 years' time. See what they can do there. They'll be back. We know they'll be back. They're Germany. But yeah, till then, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.